Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Mike, have you ever been to a Hooters?
I think their food is awful. I mean, when I say awful, I mean awful. Like, wow. It's hard for me to think of a worse restaurant than Hooters.
Their wings back years ago were good.
Really?
They really had good wings. I think that the main reason that they have had any issues is simply because when they first opened, what were they known for? They were known for having like 8s and 9s working there. You know, talking about women, rating them. I'm rating them now.
I understand.
Mike. Okay.
Yeah. Boobs. They were known for boobs.
And they were so known for it that there are a lot of famous people that have gone on and profited from starting out in Hooters.
Yeah. Yes, originally.
But I don't know the last time you went to a Hooters, but it's like 4s and 5s in there, man. I mean, like gut hanging out over the shorts and all kind of stuff. So I think that was one of the main things is the women went down. They went from 8s to 9s to 4 and 5s.
Well, let me tell you, just from being in the restaurant business, your talent level in general, regardless of what you're talking about, has gone down quite a bit.
Yes. Well, and another thing they had an issue with is they couldn't survive the woke era, bruh.
Nope. Although, in fairness, they have some competitors that are doing better than them. That came out like more recently that are a little bit have a little bit. I'm going to call it a little bit more refined menu and a better look. Because let's just be honest. I mean, the Hooters outfits are I'm not sure they ever looked good, even back in the day. Really, kind of tacky. And, you know, if you look at Tilted Kilt or is it Twin Peaks, or I think it's Twin Peaks. So some of these chains of restaurants that obviously have copied Hooters with the same girls kind of theme have done a better job with the uniforms, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was kind of dopey. The orange track shorts, booty shorts,
right,
and a t-shirt tied up.
Yeah.
Mike, I want to get this out of the way early. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. I know I know you know who he is. Film star. He played Batman. One of my favorites. One of my favorites was Jim Morrison, The Doors.
That's right. Yep.
I thought he was awesome in The Saint, which didn't do well. And one of my most repeatable movies that I watch over and over again, he was in The Heat.
Yep.
Robert De Niro.
Yep.
So shout out to Val Kilmer. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he's been sick for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into some controversy, Mike. Are you up to date on the Snow White controversy and Rachel Zegler?
I am.
Okay.
What are you going to ask me about that? I'm sure I've got some crazy thing to say.
Well, did you see the movie?
No, I did not see the movie, Phil, and I'm not going to see the movie. I mean, just in fairness, you know, I can't say that I necessarily was a fan of the original Snow White. By the way, the name of the movie is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay, that was the original name of the original movie. And I get the new version of this. It can't have dwarfs, right? So now it's Snow White and the seven magical creatures or some bullshit that are CGI and look like crap. But am I getting out there?
No, actually, you're on point in my opinion. I grew up watching Tom and Jerry and Mickey Mouse and a lot of other cartoons that I have trouble finding now because some of the things that they had in there were racist or questionable or whatever. So they've taken them off the air. I used to be a big Charlie Chan fan.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched every episode of Charlie Chan, but obviously that's a problematic thing. They had a white gentleman playing a Chinese gentleman, and I get it. I get it in all of those instances. So I just think that, okay, if you did it back then and it was successful and it's considered a classic, but you know there are a lot of questionable things, just let it go.
Right.
Let that stand on its own. Don't ever touch that. I'm not even telling you to stop playing Snow White or something. Just don't make another one.
Yeah. Right.
Because even if you make every correction that everybody wants, then it's not Snow White anymore. There's going to be a controversy when you remake it and there's controversial stuff added or taken away.
Agreed, but yeah, I totally agree. However, the bigger controversy, I think, about this particular film is the actress, and not just her, but the two main actresses actually have sort of trampled on their own movie and on their own movie studio, in a sense, by making all sorts of comments about all sorts of things, including, by the way, Rachel, what's her name? Zegler? Is that her name?
Zegler.
Yeah, Zegler. Including, her basically dissing the original Snow White. Now let's just pause for 1 second here. Who's going to go watch Snow White in a movie theater by and large? What is that driven by? It's driven by children. Children want to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
And children are not in the least bit interested on whether or not the actress behind Snow White likes, dislikes, the original Snow White, whether she likes Donald Trump or doesn't like Donald Trump, how she feels about her co-stars and what her feelings are on Hamas or Israel or any other. Like, this is a children's movie, right? So there's the first problem. I mean, like, it was on full display. Basically, you had actors in the movie. Look, the box office results of this thing were horrendous. And it's largely because, first of all, you can't alienate half of the people, because who takes children to the movies? Their parents. Right? So, I mean, it's kind of mind staggering. I mean, they had the studio Disney, which, by the way, look, Disney has been around for years, has always been, generally speaking, has had its share of controversies, has largely been on the left. But even they had to end up hiring a social media handler to control their own actress, because even they were like, oh God, she's got to shut her mouth.
Well, there's two things working at the same time. One, you have an employee that is not working in the best interest of the company. And right. but you have an industry where people who are representative of the industry in recent times have been involved in politics and have been used as propaganda in politics.
Yeah.
So on one side, we can say she should just shut up and act, or like shut up and play basketball. We want our entertainers, we want our businesses to stay out of politics. I get that. But on the flip side, I can't go all the way in on her, because they're like putting the whole blame on her. She was nothing but a megaphone for Disney. Mm-hmm. She was saying things that Disney was all right with. She was saying things that Disney propagates in their movies.
Until it reached a point where Disney realized they were going to lose money about it.
Right. So I feel like, yeah, she's got issues. I don't like her. I don't think she's a good actress. I don't think she's attractive. I think her career is over, to be honest with you. I think people aren't going to want to touch her with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, and I agree with that. But why is Disney going to still be around? That's my point. They are more liable in this to me than they were the people who literally gave her the rope to hang herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they created some of their own controversies with, for one, they cast the people that they cast in the roles. You could argue, and this is not scientific, but I would argue that let's use her as an example. She doesn't really represent what I think most children want to see in Snow White. Like she's not cast very well. Like they could have found, like her facial structure, her. I don't want to say like it's not so much personality, but it's how she comes across. She comes off as masculine. Yeah, maybe partly that, but she's too edgy or too her face. She's just very. You don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling that the reason that the evil whatever stepmother in the original didn't like Snow White was because she was like the perfect, nice, girl next door kind of person. Like it would be like, I said this to somebody the other day. It would be like, what's Harry's wife there, Meghan Markle? It would be like casting her as Snow White, and that she's got like the kind of resting bitch face, like you know what I mean? Like, did I say that out loud? No, you know what I'm saying though. It doesn't.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Well, I mean, right? Like I wouldn't cast her as. So let's compare it as. So I did watch Barbie. So let's compare casting. I know, I did. Let's compare casting. What's her name as Barbie? Now she's not a perfect match for Barbie either. However, like look how well that movie did. Those actresses and actors did not open their big mouth about stupid things. They did a bunch of changes to that movie as well, but
they were attached to a brand and a story that people love. So it was going to be successful, just like what would have happened with Snow White. It was a brand and a story that all they had to do was not open their mouth.
Exactly. That's my point. All they had to do was not screw with it, and they got involved in Disney. I agree with you, Phil. Disney got all involved when what's his name from Game of Thrones started making comments about the role of, short people, dwarves, and how that was portrayed. But then what happens? You go to, it's like taking, the what's her name off of the butter or Aunt Jemima off the syrup or whatever. All of a sudden, so now what are we going to do? Just ignore people altogether? So all of those actors are starting to lose roles now. What are they going to act in?
Yeah, but check it out. They could have had Snow White kept to the same story and had 7 little people.
Yes.
The correct term, right?
Exactly.
And they could have even since they want to address things, they could have addressed that in a cool way. Yep. Where when she first meets them, maybe somebody calls them dwarves and she stands up for them
and or something.
Right.
Yep. And that's my point. So instead of doing that, instead of trying to set an example for the children that are watching the movie and say, hey, we don't want to call them this. What do? They change it to some stupid name and put a bunch of CGI characters that look ridiculous in there with her, and totally lost the opportunity to have a learning experience, in my opinion.
And most people's thoughts, everybody has Snow White and 7 dwarfs in their mind. So when you change it to magical people, they're like, are you calling them magical people now? It still comes off as like a diss.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you couldn't have botched this whole thing up more than they did. Like the combination between the studio, the actresses, the actors, and the media involved around it was just brain dead. And in the middle of a movie launch for, not to bring total politics into it, but in the middle of a movie launch for anybody to come out and say, you know, Donald Trump is an asshole or whatever, or whatever she said was actually quite incendiary. Whether it was about Donald Trump or somebody had said the opposite about Joe Biden or somebody on the other side, that's not what you would want to do while you're releasing a movie.
But people feel like you should have the right to say whatever you want, but nobody that works for somebody has the right to say it. Everybody bites their tongue.
Yep. You have the right to say, but you also have the right to get all the consequences that are going to occur because of it.
Yeah, and I've got the right to get rid of you if you are hurting my business.
That's right.
Mike, I want to get into another part of Snow White. Now,
Okay.
the main story is who's the fairest of them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they had wanted to like push some kind of political agenda or whatever, you know, about, it could have been a teaching moment, like Snow White comes and teaches her that it's not your beauty that should be the thing. It should be, what can you do that makes you the fairest of them all, or something like that. They could have made excellent points. They could have furthered the story along and modified it. And I think people would have been okay with what I just said.
Agreed.
And here's the kicker of the fairest of them all thing to me, Mike. How you gonna have Snow White look like a dog versus Gal Gadot? How you gonna have Gal Gadot? You know what I mean?
I know. That's what I mean.
She was the fairest of them all.
That's what I mean. It was totally cast wrong.
Cause she's weird looking, man. She's one of them people, when they make her up and everything and put her in a gown, she look cool.
Yep.
But she's a little weirdo looking.
Yep. I'm with you.
So, Mike, I got a question for you.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna play a game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is made to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, good.
It's going to be called Smash or Pass.
Smash or pass. Okay.
And we're going to start out with Rachel Zegler. You got to be honest now. Not
Pass.
Okay. Okay. Same here. Next one is Rihanna.
Smash.
Okay. Same here. Zendaya.
Oh, that's a tougher one. See, can I ask a question?
Yeah, I'm hoping you expound on it.
What are we basing this decision on?
You meet her, she says, I want to give you some.
Okay, I'm going to smash on that one too.
On Zendaya? Okay, so explain that. Why did you have a question about what? Tell me, what's your thinking on Zendaya?
Well, because I was starting to thinking about, I don't know. I was getting deeper into it, like thinking about some of the things that she's done.
No, this isn't have a relationship or pass.
That's why I asked the question.
Oh, so do you want to change? Do you want to change Rachel Zegler or Rihanna?
No.
Okay, Angel Reese, smash or pass?
I'm passing.
Okay, Caitlin Clark, smash or pass?
I'm passing.
Ariana Grande, smash or pass?
I was gonna smash.
Selena Gomez.
Nobody's recording this.
Selena Gomez, smash or pass?
Oh, I think that's a smash too.
I already know the answer to this one. Taylor Swift, smash.
That's a double smash.
That Mike is in love with Taylor.
I'm in love with Taylor. Yeah.
Okay. Nicki Minaj, smash or pass?
I would say that's man. You got quite a list of Well, she's a little more complicated.
I'm all ears.
I think I'm gonna pass.
Okay, and tell me why. Come on, Mike.
A little too weird for me.
Weird as in looks, weird in the way she carries herself.
Yeah, a little weird in looks, a little too over the top for me.
Okay, is it face or is it the bombastic body?
It's more. I'd say it's more body.
Mm-hmm.
Face is more
She's
body.
got one of those BBLs and all that type stuff. What about Beyonce? Smash or pass?
I'm smashing.
Okay.
Some of these are easier than others.
Emma Watson, smash or pass?
Hold on, I got Emma Watson is that I'm a little confused of which one she is. That's
Hermione on Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's a smash.
Smash or pass? Lady Gaga.
Well, on talent, that's a smash. On
whoa.
It's not.
So if a woman came up to you and she could play a violin but look like Phyllis Diller, you smash it?
Is Phyllis Diller going to be on this list too? Oh God. I'm gonna based on the quality of some of the people that are on your list here, I'm gonna pass on Lady Gaga. I love Lady Gaga though.
I am shocked because you have spoken very highly of Lady
I love Lady Gaga, but she's also, I would put her also in a little bit too weird of a category.
I think you're being nice. She is weird. She's just not attractive. She can be. Exactly. That means that they can put stuff on her face and make her look better. Yeah. I judge by if I put you in the shower and make you wash your face and matter of fact, you know who Lady Gaga looks wise reminds me of?
Who?
And the way she's treated too. There was this show called Sex and the City.
Yeah.
And the lead lady, she's married to the guy.
Oh, Mr.
No,
not Mr. Big, not him, not that guy. You talking about the blonde Carrie?
No, she's the main girl. She's the main girl in the story of Sex and the City.
Yeah, that's Jessica Parker, right?
Yes.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
For decades, they've been trying to tell the world that she's one of the most attractive women in the world, but men are not looking at her. Lady Gaga is one of them type women to me, where they always talk about her like she's this beautiful woman, and I've never heard a man say, I'm with this Lady Gaga. Okay, last three, Mike. Adele, smash or pass?
Pass.
You said that quick, Mike. Ooh, okay, I'll leave that alone. Lizzo, smash or pass? Amy Schumer, smash or pass?
Pass. Okay. Let's get back up to Taylor Swift. Oh God, we're getting thrown off. Spotify's throwing us off. We're in trouble after this episode here.
Okay, Mike. We've had our fun. I know you itching to get into politics.
Oh boy.
Trump just announced the 10% tariffs on all imports and an additional tax for 60 countries. What's your opinion on that? Do you think it'll work? Do you think the U.S. citizen will be patient enough to let this work?
So this is a challenging thing. I would say in general, and I think I said this on the podcast a couple of weeks back, I generally am against the tariff approach. And I generally think that it's very difficult to stimulate our economy here based on tariffs, because a tariff works if we are trying to compete with a foreign country with a particular product that we also make. But if we don't make it, that this is where I think the challenge comes in. I'm gonna use a I'm gonna bring it back to the Overland world here for a second. And Pete, the president and founder of Moscow Moto, put up a couple good videos that you guys should watch out there. Talking about why Moscow Moto products are largely made in Vietnam, China, and I forget the third country that they're made in. I'm not positive. Southeast Asia, I'm pretty sure. But he explains very, because look, the what he says in this is the gut feeling for a lot of Americans that are uneducated say it should be made in America. It should be made in America. Well, here's the problem. In order to make something in America, you have to have two things. Three things. You have to have the facility, has to be the infrastructure to actually manufacture something has to be here. Number one. Number two, you have to have the workforce with the skill set to be able to do it. And three, you've got to have the ingredients to make the product. And he uses a good example with Moscow Moto with some of their bags and clothing that the actual ingredients we don't have in America. We just don't have this stuff.
Right.
Like some of the textiles and things that are coming out of Asia, from India, from Vietnam, from other places, we don't have it here. So in order to make a Moscow Moto bag, as an example, in America, we would have to import the actual material to make it. The other problem that we have is we don't have a skilled labor force, regardless of whether or not, and it is a fact that we would have to pay the labor force here higher because the cost of living in America is higher. You're not going to live in downtown Seattle and work at Moscow Moto and make bags and get paid the same as the people that are in Vietnam. It's a fact of life. The statement, it should be made in America. And look, I'm a big proponent. Like, I would prefer to buy American stuff over foreign stuff any day of the week. However, that by making that statement, you're almost talking like you're from 1950. At one point, we could say that. But in 2025, I mean, the United States is largely a service economy. We've developed that over the last 25 years. We've turned America into a very good service economy, and probably the best service economy in the world. China, since 1990, has become the manufacturing power horse. Those guys, China has 10 times the manufacturing of the next 5 countries combined. So it's going to take a long time. So do I think that Trump putting these tariffs and so, look, the Democrats come out and say,
what's a long time?
Blah, blah, blah. What?
What's a long time?
I think in order to put a tariff on and to start forcing companies to move to the States, to manufacture to the States, to start making changes and how the way I'm going to say that you're looking at a 5 to 10 year window.
So if it's a 5 to 10 year window, in my opinion, this will not work. It won't come close to working.
No.
This is my thing. He has 364 days to make this work, good or bad, up or down. If he can't get it completed, not started, completed from the start to finish in 364 days, I think he'll lose his base. I think he'll lose some of the support that he has amongst the people in his actual administration. There may even be disruption in the relationship he has with Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has about a year.
I would agree, and I do think there are some. So there's been a lot of argument. You get the people on one side and the people on the other side, and I wanted to dig deeper into this because my gut feeling was that tariffs were bad. This is nonsense. This is just stupid. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. So I wanted to look into it a little bit more, and some of the arguments that Trump is using are actually valid arguments. And it's interesting because I found an article on the New York Times. I found an article that was written by, I forget what other very well-respected news organization that tends to be on the left that actually said, Trump has a number of points here that are correct, that are true. However, he's basically trying to make all of these changes at one time and too quickly. It's impossible to succeed at that. As an example, he uses his argument that let's do reciprocal tariffs. So I'm going to use this as an example. India is a good example of this. India charges us 50% tariff on automobiles. So Trump says, well, let's do a reciprocal tariff. The problem is reciprocal tariffs are complicated because there's a number of factors to look at. It's not just the actual set number on the tariff. It's what kind of trade restrictions are in place, what kind of quotas are in place, and it depends on what the products are. Because some products are more important to us or to the other market than some other products, and some are produced by us and some are not. So, if every country in the world was making 10 items, we were all making the same 10 items, and India charged us 50%, well, then we charge them 50% and it's even. But that's not the case. India's making product A and America's making product B. So it's impossible really to do reciprocal tariffs. That's the complicated part to this.
I agree with your logic, Mike. I have been waiting for a few weeks because we've talked about the tariffs several times, and I've been waiting for you to give this point because of how much you've traveled. You definitely have out-traveled me. And I know that I've seen in my travels, especially in the last 10 years, international travel I'm talking about. There are economies that could completely survive and flourish in other countries without any interaction with the United States whatsoever.
Yes, and there are.
Right. Right. Iran would be a good example of that.
Yep. There's a bunch of countries in Africa. There are many countries that do.
So I think we can easily overplay our hand.
Yep.
There are allies and business associates that this country has, and it's only because we have the best hand. Mm-hmm. We start going down in GDP, which will obviously happen with the tariffs, at least in the short term.
Yep.
There are people who we think have our support that I could see easily leaving and being part of these other economies.
Yep.
Like, let's just take the car sector. And I know that Toyota has manufacturing here and already has agreements with us, so it's not an actual situation. But if we were to act funny with Japan, they can supply vehicles to the whole world, and totally losing America wouldn't hurt them as bad as people might think.
Yeah. I mean, there's truth to that. I mean, the automobile thing, it actually is probably part of the equation that Trump's putting in place. actually is probably going to work. But what you're going to see, it may not be what you want. So Toyota, Nissan, Volkswagen, some of the bigger manufacturers already are producing most of their cars in America that go to America. Mm-hmm. Companies like, I saw a chart the other day, companies like Volvo, as an example, is not. They do not have a manufacturing in America. So you probably will see that disappear, which, by the way, is Chinese owned. Jaguar, no surprise. You and I talked about this on a podcast I just saw a couple of days ago. Jaguar got bought. Tata Motors in India, who owned Land Rover Jaguar Group, sold Jaguar to the same company, Geely, in China that owns Volvo. I think we talked about on a podcast. I think Jaguar's over. They were trying to switch to all electric, and then they changed the logo. And I mean, they're in trouble, anyways. But so I think the automobile thing will actually work. I think that we will end up with almost all of cars that are in America being built in America.
I hope so. I hope that we're patient enough to actually let it happen.
With one exception. I think I personally think you have to include Mexico and Canada in America. Like
I do too. Yes.
Like to put tariffs on Mexico and Canada makes no sense whatsoever. I get it. And I think it was a Democrat actually that came out and agreed with, I don't remember who it was now, that agreed with Trump on China and said, look, his direction, his angle on this tariff thing should really be focused on China. And the last term, if you remember, I think Trump did a lot of good things for our economic situation with China. I mean, he definitely weakened China considerably. And I think that that's where the focus should be, to try to attack allies in Europe and Mexico and Canada. It makes little to no sense for me. No sense.
Mike, I want to ask you about something before we run out of time. What do you think about the media's response to the astronauts' return? And this is what I mean. Yeah, there was a lot of coverage of the landing, beautiful images. I wonder what cameras they were using. But since they have landed, I thought that they would be like doing a round robin of all of the talk shows, all of the main news organizations, Good Morning America, the normal stuff that usually happens with a victory or a tragedy when it comes to NASA and astronauts.
And we all know why that's not happening.
But I mean, it's not like a little less. I mean, they like turned off the faucet.
Well, because if you listen to which I did, if you listen to basically the one interview that they did allow the astronauts to do, they basically said that they were home pretty much largely because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So the media was like, oh God, we can't touch this with a 10-foot pole. They did everything in their interview, by the way, that they stopped just shy of dissing NASA and Boeing, but they basically did.
Well, my problem is this is just like with that DJ boy, the guy that was the little boy with the cancer that they wouldn't clap for at the White House.
Right.
This is the Democrats doing something again where this is something where you set aside your differences and you show respect. I would put this incident and what they went through on the same level as how you're supposed to treat military. I mean, they weren't just up there joyriding. They were up there experimenting. A lot of things that we take for granted start out through NASA.
Exactly. I agree. It's an example of why, and we've talked about this at length, it's why we're stuck in the divided situation that we are in the States, and it's not getting any better. It's not changing at all. Let's put it this way. The playbook, particularly from the Democrats, has not changed. I have not seen in the interview or any talk yet out of Bill Maher, who went and visited Donald Trump at the White House. I'd be curious because Bill Maher is a guy that I very rarely agreed with. However, I got to tell you, he's got it right on. He's dead on when he's his assessment of where we are is right.
I don't give credit to guys like him. They go with the way the wind blows.
Yep, a little bit. But
unless you're telling me he's unintelligent and he had an epiphany, I can't give him no.
I don't think he's changed, Phil. He's still just as critical of Trump, but what he is, and by the way, and the reason that he's starting to lose audience is because he's being honest about the Democrat side, and the Democrats like he's turned on us. He's moving more towards the right. No, he's not. He's just calling you out, telling you what the fucking dumb things you're doing are.
And I see the ratings thing a little different. He is seeing that if I stick to this liberal thing where I'm saying stuff that don't make sense and hypocritical, I'll lose even more people because I sound stupid.
Yep. Well, because he does. Not only will you sound stupid, you are stupid.
So that's why I'm saying this is a survival mechanism that he's
partly.
Yeah.
I would agree. But it'd be interesting to see what he says after that.
I have a statement, Mike. I don't really have a question. I have a statement. I believe that Trump and Barack Obama will be running for president in 2008.
You know what? I'm not taking if that's a bet, I'm not taking it. I believe that. I believe that could be the case.
First of all, I believe that the Democrats will actually assist in changing things so that either one of them could have a third term.
Yep.
I believe they're going to be suckered into changing that law because they think they've got an actual chance with Barack. They think that's their only chance. So
I would agree that is their only chance.
I hope that they think that.
I think if you ran Barack Obama against Trump, I think Trump would win. That's my opinion.
I think he would win easily.
Yep, but I do believe that Barack Obama is their best option.
I agree with that too.
And I do believe, and it was interesting. I was also thinking about this the other day because Trump came out and said, they tell me there's other ways or something might happen to be able to run him for a third term, and he's being very serious about it. And somebody said, well, you really would have to change the Constitution in such a way to make that happen. Well, guess what?
They changed it to make it that.
Exactly. And my thought, and they were saying, well, no, the Democrats, there's no way everybody's going to agree to that. Oh, but if Obama came out and said, I'll run, suddenly you're going to get the Democrats to go, and then that's how it happens.
And everybody has a stake in this. A lot of times the way something is covered is the way it is perceived. And I believe every news organization is going to, if they thought that they could have Barack Obama versus Trump, they're going to spin this in a way where it's going to assist in the citizens agreeing with it and it getting through Congress and the Senate and changing that law.
Yep.
I think there's a synergy with all of this.
And they could change it in such a way that it wouldn't fundamentally change the Constitution that much, particularly when it comes to Trump and Obama, by simply saying that the limit is 8 continuous years in a row. So neither one of them would be disqualified. Obama, you know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't fundamentally change the rule. Like you couldn't be a president and serve 3 consecutive terms. However, if they changed it just slightly and were able to have non-consecutive terms, that would qualify both Trump and Obama. I agree with you. I see that happening. I can definitely see that happening.
So if something like that were to happen, are there how would we protect ourselves from what we were originally protecting ourselves from when we said there'd only be, 2 terms. Like I'm thinking, and I don't know if this makes sense. I'm just spitballing this right out off the dome right now. I'm thinking that after you've won 2 terms, you can't run under whatever party you were. You have to run as an independent, and whatever party you were from has to have a new person run for the party. Yes.
Yep. You could do that too, which
I don't know if that makes any kind of sense.
It totally makes sense. But I mean, Trump certainly and probably Obama could operate outside of their party as well. There's no question. Because like I said before, I would argue the Republican Party is gone. Trump took it over, hijacked it, whatever you want to call. The Republican Party is gone, and the Democratic Party might be more gone than the Republican Party at this point. They've got no leaders, they've got no organization, they've got no platform to speak of. They're all over the place. So I would say that they don't exist either. Not right now.
They are, if your game plan has always been as a baby's game plan is, if I cry, I get a reaction. These 2 people in this house with me, when I cry, they run and they react to my every whim. When you decide, you know what, let them cry. They eventually stop crying, but it takes them a while. And this is what's happening to them. The Democratic Party, their whole thing has been basically whining about things, crying about things, complaining about things. And they're trying to do it now, but Trump has put them in a boat where it's like, that's the problem about you guys. So their strength has been turned into a weakness. That used to be their strength. We whine about everything. And now them whining is literally detrimental to them.
And I've noticed that they're trying to latch on to every bit of glimmer of hope that they think they can get. Like yesterday or the day before, we had those elections, the special elections in Florida and in where was it, Wisconsin or whatever. And they were like, well, the candidates that won, which by the way, the Republicans won both of them in Florida, but they said, well, they were down by way off of what Trump's numbers were. Well, of course they were, but if you put it in context, when there's a special election not on in a presidential year, of course their numbers are way down because nobody goes out to vote. So I mean,
and historically, there's a lot of exceptions, but historically, the off year of the presidency, these kind of elections usually goes to the opposing party.
Yeah,
they usually win, and that's my point.
Yeah.
So just to if you had eked out a win, let alone been like a big win, that's actually a big win. If you're
they didn't get any of that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, all they stood on was the Supreme Court that they held in Wisconsin or whatever. But that it was kind of predictable, anyways. But the citizens voted. Which, by the way, can I just rant about this for 1 second? They voted for positive voter ID, and overwhelmingly, I think 75% of the people support having an ID to be able to register to vote. Are we actually talking about this? Isn't that fucking common sense?
I'm beyond even the common sense part. I think that since, almost every other thing that's important that you do in America, there's requirements, there's some kind of forms you have to fill out, there's all kinds of stuff you have to do. But the most important thing, we just willy-nilly about it.
Right.
I think you're an unqualified voter if you don't have the ability to figure out how to do the necessary things to put yourself in a position to vote. It's
I
not.
agree.
It's not hard,
Nope.
but there is a formality, and
Yes.
if that is too challenging to you, I feel like that's well, good. You shouldn't be voting.
Agreed. I'm tired of all of this. Like, it needs to be 100%. This is the same argument Phil, this is the same argument they use of why we should still have the post office. I mean, we should have gotten rid of the post office fucking years ago, but they're still arguing about it because, God forbid, there's 3 guys in northern Maine that aren't going to get their thing because they can't get out of their house because give me a break. If we have to go to the lowest common denominator for everything, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, they normally don't pick the guy in Maine. They pick some person of color, some ethnicity.
Well, they pick the freaking people at the bottom of the Grand Canyon that get the donkey that rides down to them.
And that's what I'm getting to. I happen to know people like that. And guess what? Those are you can't get your aid or any of the things that people complain about them getting unless you have the right documentation. So that's a red herring. The people who they try to say is going to hurt usually are the people who
know how to do it.
Yeah, they go to the office to get their food stamps, and they go to do this, and they go to do that.
Exactly.
You saying that a lot of them go to jail? Well, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. To me, it's a no-brainer. We being able to vote should be. I'm going to take flack for this. It should be. I don't want to say difficult.
It should be a privilege.
It is a privilege, but it should be
earned.
Something that you do need to spend time to make sure that you are lined up, registered, properly designated, shown your ID. I'm all for all of that. I mean, the argument that just makes it harder to vote, that's the dumbest argument. That is totally stupid.
When you go get your ID, it should be just like automatically you're enrolled into voting.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything after that because the DMV will figure out whether you're the citizen or not or whatever.
Exactly. It seems like this is common sense stuff, but, I don't know.
Mike, talk to me about your opinion on the Tesla protests.
Totally stupid. Elon Musk owns 13% of the company. It's 85% owned by mostly people that are Vanguard and big companies that are 401k investment firms that many people are invested in. So basically, by attacking, by destroying a Tesla, you're not penalizing Elon Musk at all. I mean, you're potentially threatening workers at Tesla if it does that poorly because of it. You're destroying parts of the economy. It's for fuck's sake, it's 100% American car company, and it's all electric. I mean, I thought that's what the left wanted. So it's a nonsensical thing. And if you think that that's going to take down the richest guy in the world, you do not understand economics at all. Okay. Because I heard people tell me, well, if you take down Tesla and then, Tesla is where how he got the loan to get X and he'll lose Tesla and he'll lose X. And you think that guy's going to be poor? Do you think that most of his money comes from SpaceX, quite frankly, which they're not attacking at all. So you guys they're the people that are doing that, Phil, idiots, absolute fucking idiots.
If you've ever run a business, he's actually laughing right now.
He's
because
laughing.
Car sales were slow. And now I can write off all these cars.
Yep.
You don't think he got insurance?
Yep.
He's probably happy about this because sales have been down for the past 4 to 6 months.
Particularly in the EV market.
Right. So you are literally putting money in his pocket.
Phil,
Well, here's
you
my
and I understand this, but I got to tell you, Americans, particularly people like I'll go on Facebook. If I go on my Facebook right now, I will, if I scan for even 2 minutes, I will have friends that will talking about Teslas and how they don't support Elon Musk and all this. They're just fucking idiots.
And Mike, I want to get into another side of this. Who is the person protesting? And I have an answer somewhat for that. The actual people that I'm seeing at these protests, I've seen visually one, physically seen one. And then I've seen other ones, obviously on YouTube, CNN, blah, blah, blah. And the singular thing about all of them is I don't think I've seen a person under 50 in these protests. And so far, all of the people that they've actually caught, I think they've caught 2 so far, both of them old people.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I mean, one of the problems is a lot of these protests, as you probably know, are done by what I'm going to call professional protesters.
That's where I'm headed.
One day they're protesting Tesla, the next day they're protesting something else, and I mean that's what they do. This is what they do for a living.
I live here in Washington, bro. You have a lot of, actual for real hippies that literally go back to Berkeley, 1960s and all of that. And I know some of them, and most of them still they've gone on to like Fortune 500 companies and all of this stuff, but they still deep down have that hippie in them.
Yep.
So I believe some of them are actually genuinely out there, but I believe like at least half of the protesters that you see have been employed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is where we're at right now, is that we basically, it's similar to the elections. People bitch about wealthy people funding their campaigns and stuff, but this is how we run business. This is how we run politics, and this is how we run social things at this point, is through money. And so it always has to do with, we're basically spending money to hire protesters to go out to protest a particular issue. And it's ironic because we're probably spending a lot of money. I say somebody is spending money doing protesting to go against the guy that has a lot of money that owns Tesla. It's just the whole thing is, I don't know. We could talk about it for hours. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Mike, both of us have busy schedules moving forward. Things are warming up. What do you got going on moving forward?
I will see everybody at Overland Expo West in Flagstaff. That is May 16th through the 18th. And super excited about being at that event. And immediately following that, I'm going to be posting more about this, but I am involved in a vintage truck trip called the Southern Cross Expedition through the backcountry discovery routes of Arizona and New Mexico. So that leaves Monday morning, immediately following Overland Expo. And that's being done with 8 vehicles, most of which are 1960s. We have a 1958, I believe, a couple 70s, and maybe one 80s vehicle, but all old trucks.
Okay. And when is Overland Expo West?
West is the May 16th to the 18th. So Phil and I will be there.
And you, in addition to doing stuff with me, will also be working with actually Overland Expo, teaching some classes, right?
Yep. I'll have a class schedule for you guys coming up. I'm excited about that. And
do you know your classes yet?
I don't know the classes yet. No. Probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll find out.
So if you don't ever go to Overland Expo, Mike teaches like 100 different classes, and he never knows which 5 they're going to have him teach. It's funny.
I never know I never know, but we're gonna have a good time. We'll probably let's do some podcasts from Expo, and maybe we'll do some live stuff, and you'll see us there. And by the way, I was to throw out, Phil and I did not go to. I knocked my microphone over here. Phil and I did not go to Overland Expo, the new one in SoCal. However, I did talk to some people that did go, including Jerry from Timbuktu, and they said that it was amazing event, super busy. It was only a 2-day event, so it was only a Saturday, Sunday thing. And it was, he said, sales of particularly out of their booth and various vendors said it was really good. So that was good to hear about the economy. Obviously, that's a wealthy part of California that it's held in. And even in speaking to some of the people from Overland Expo, they were very happy with that. So we'll see. What I'm curious to see is, do they adopt any of the things that they did differently in Southern California to some of the other Overland Expos going forward? That I'd like to see.
Okay. Any other news you want to give, Mike? I know you got today. You don't want it right. You don't want to divulge it today.
There's a lot going on. I've got a lot going on, but we'll probably next week we'll talk about some more stuff I got going on.
Well, my story isn't as exciting. I'm going to start riding my bike again. I've kind of tried to keep it a secret. I had a major hip injury that I've been recovering from, and this is a big deal to me to be able to get back on a bike. So I'm going to be riding my bike again, and I'm like at 90% now. So you're going to be seeing more content from me outside of what we're doing now. I may even actually be doing some content regarding e-bikes and things like that. But I'm about to be a lot more active moving forward. So look out for other content besides just the podcast.
Be ready, guys. We're going to be back.
I'm in shape now, bruh.
All right. And it'll be good to see you in person too. So that's coming up soon. We're only like 6 weeks out.
Yeah, I think this is the longest it's been since when I saw you and the next time I saw you.
Yeah. So looking forward to it.
Anything else you want to say, Mike?
I think that's good for today.
All right, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully we'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.